And we are live. Yeah, so hopefully everyone can hear us right now. We're just going ahead and we are testing out StreamYard because that appears to be the big thing right now. So, and we're going over all the restrictions and the differences between this and what OBS can do, and comparing this against the regular old Google Hangouts, which is no longer in existence, but there is a replacement on YouTube that you can use instead of StreamYard or OBS. Okay, so it's there and it's just as easy, so don't worry about that. But anyway, so this is the StreamYard thing, and it looks like Alicia Kingston is first. So congratulations, Alicia Kingston. You win the Booby Award for being first, and now I'm going to hide you. And I am the Resource Ninja. And tonight's stream is all about Arya. Woohoo! And Dawg, say hi to everyone.
Hey, folks, great to be here. Testing out StreamYard. I was testing it out earlier today, and Ninja was kind enough to be by. And then, we're going to check out the bells and whistles with StreamYard here tonight. Great to see everybody. Alicia Kingston, OTDA, John Matrix. What's good, my man? And I mean, I'm so glad, Milt, that we get to be here tonight to talk about Arya, and also we get to talk about Arya. We're going to get to talk about Arya some more, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Arya later on. So really looking forward to some chats. And
and I'm really glad that OTDA is here because Arya is like his all-time favorite character in the entire universe and history of the world.
Well, yeah, I mean, other than Arya, who...
if there was no Arya, then he would not have a reason to exist, as far as I understand his reasonings. So anyway, OTDA, I'm glad you're here. So anyway, today's stream again is going to be all about Arya. Okay, so and let's go ahead and start with our in-depth analysis of the video that we did earlier on, like maybe 3 hours ago. That was on a premiere. It's just like a little 10-minute video I did explaining why I had to change a bunch of stuff compared to my raid night team from 3 or 4 months ago. So if you want to go ahead and leave because you already saw it, go ahead. Feel free to leave. I'll be really disappointed and sad. But if you want to stay and just check it out, that'd be really, really cool. But there are some. But I said that there are some kind of like a little bit of differences and limitations here in StreamYard that we will be getting talking about as we go along in this stream. The first thing is, for whatever reason, the title bars are showing up on my PowerPoint display, but they don't show up in Dawg's display. So I think that's a versioning issue on my version of PowerPoint. Secondly, I don't have I can't play any audio sources or extra independent video sources. So I can't basically use any kind of background music, which I can do usually in OBS, or I can't play any kind of video files, which I usually do in OBS. So besides that, everything seems to be working okay. Now, if I actually paid for it and subscribed to it, maybe I could, Dawg. Is that right?
Well, that was because I had caught the end of Al's. I caught most of Al's stream last night actually, and I caught what Ron was kind of mentioning was there's some other features that aren't privy to the free version, of course, and I was thinking it may be some, things like cropping the windows and stuff like maybe getting other background sources, music and such. But as far as I know right now, I think all you would be able to do, Milt, would be to use like your PowerPoint, use the put the music source in the PowerPoint kind of thing.
Yeah,
then play it that way because
which I don't like to do usually. I like to keep it separate. So.
It's nice to just go. Bingo bango! Yeah. I got my music right away. Yeah, I know the feeling with that.
Yeah, bingo bango, and yes, Amanda, I am going to explain every single joke that I say in the stream. So thanks a lot for that. All right. Yeah. So
but that is that not a fantastic feature with the comment section? That's great.
So I just have to say this again, about what the stream's about, and it is all about Arya. So let's go ahead and start, right? Don't we? So the first thing is remember that we were setting up raid teams, right? Essentially, these are teams that you assemble in a video game to go up against a enemy, a boss, if you are, right, Dawg?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you have a team just like almost like a football team sort of thing, right? And they got to take down the big, the big dragon, or in this case, the Night King. We had some fun doing Game of Thrones, so I think we set up. We had a couple of tanks. We had like your main tank, right? The guy that takes the guy or gal, right? That takes the most hate, and tries to keep the monsters on that person, and then you have other. Jobs as well, damage dealers, and different types of damage dealers. You had people that healed, you had people that threw out magic spells. We had tacticians involved too. We tried to go out of the box a little bit with that to try to take this Night King down.
All right. Yeah, exactly. So damage dealers, melee, close quarters, hand to hand, ranged, bow and arrows, that kind of stuff. Main tanks, off tanks are basically your defense. Main tank is basically a big brute or a bullet sponge, if you will. And then your off tank, to me, is like the most versatile, right? You can
like an off tank.
Offense and defense.
Yeah, like an off tank, usually he's there because, like sometimes they might have to do a switch, like say a boss does like some real nasty vulnerability stacks on the main, right? They might have to do a switch out so the other guy can take some vulnerability. Or let's say, the Night King, he's fighting the main guys, and all of a sudden he says, "Hey, all my minions, why don't you come out here and just take out these guys?" Right. Well, we need somebody that can take on those ads, right? The additional reinforcements and things of that nature that might come out in our encounters, and that's why we would have an off tank for situations like that. Also, to get keep things off our healers, keep things off your quarterback, right? We don't want our quarterback getting sacked.
Pick off targets that just happen to get past your defense. But I still think that you can actually use an off tank for offensive purposes.
Absolutely.
They say flank the enemy or something like that and get behind.
Absolutely. Them. When they're not doing some sort of tank, abilities, they're going to switch up, and they're going to be versatile, and they're going to be doing some damage.
Yep, and OTDA's favorite NBA player is Victor Oladipo because evidently he wears a Arya shirt, so that's not surprising. And at least 10, Alicia, she's like maybe up to like 15 or 20 now in terms of superheroes, with the powers that she's developed in the past 8 seasons. So let's go ahead and start. So basically, these are the slots, right? And we included a direwolf because, hey, it's Game of Thrones, so we got to include a direwolf.
Absolutely.
It's like a beast, right? Each team needs a beast. And
like a beast or a summoner or something, or a beast master. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because maybe the Night King's immune to humans, but not immune to beasts, right? They have a weakness to beasts. So anyway, I remember a long time ago we did this, a few months ago, and I had like this awesome team, of Game of Thrones, The Song of Ice and Fire, figures from the lore and show, and I would think that this team would definitely take down, the Night King. I mean, you had damage dealers and Robert Baratheon and Bloodraven, with melee, with hand-to-hand and ranged combat, respectively. Your tanks, your main guy was Drawn Belwas, who's like the ultimate, bullet sponge in the series. And I was saying that, he ate a friggin' plate of poisoned honey locusts, and all he got off on was a stomach ache. So that's pretty freaking cool. So he can absorb some damage. Then Arya Stark was my off tank because she's the one that can actually play both offense and defense, right? She can pick off, the enemy that can, that basically gets by the main defenses, but you can actually use her, for an offensive purpose, like, with her speed to basically flank the enemy as well.
Absolutely. I was so proud of you that night when you used Arya as an off tank, because I was like, just totally thought out of the box, just like I was trying to do with the project. And we had a lot of fun with this one. I think I had that was kind of my, I had issues with my main tanks. I think I had the Hound as my main, and I had Ser Jorah Mormont, I think, was my off tank, right? Yeah. I talked about like I think some, that's what I loved about my party. They weren't all complete, they had some sort of weakness to them, right? There was some sort of vulnerability about them, and that's what made it really fun. I'm trying to think of who some of my others were, but we'll get there when we get there. But I was happy that you had picked Arya for the off tank that night.
So my mage was Mokoro, who's a figure from the books, right? But this dude is badass. He's traveling with Victorian Greyjoy right now to Marine to meet the Dragon Queen. But this dude can shoot flames from his staff, and anybody that can shoot flames from his staff has to be a pretty badass, wicked mage. Wouldn't you think so, Dawg? I mean, Gandalf shot flames from his staff, or like fireballs, didn't he?
Right. Well, he has the Ring of Fire. I forgot what the name of it, but he's pretty badass with that ring as well. So.
I mean, Qyburn's my healer because he did heal like a semi-dead man in Gregor Clegane. So and he also sewed back. He also fixed up Jaime. When he was almost getting gangrene, right, from losing his hand. And and there we go. Leisure has all the superheroes that Arya's impersonated. Okay, we'll get back to that later. Yeah, I mean, Batman and Iron Fist in seasons 1 through 3. Okay, maybe. Sure. Definitely Daredevil and definitely Wolverine. Yeah, I mean, Wolverine, she's like she's closest to Wolverine than anybody, I think, in terms of a superhero. But, at the end, she almost became Captain Marvel with her, because she combined all those superpowers of flight, invulnerability, super strength, super speed, everything in one. She's Captain Marvel, man. So anyway, let's get back into this. Okay, so tactician strategist, I have Robb Stark. Okay, because he's undefeated, and that's all I'm going to say about him. He basically beat everybody up on the battlefield, and Grey Wind, of course, in wolf form, not in the picture where his head's sewed onto Robb Stark's body. Right. So there you go. But with all the changes that we saw in season 8, and also upon further reflection, this list has changed, and that was the whole point of the video. Was we had to update, or I had to update my own team, and that's only because of the revelation.
Yeah, right. I think I remember my list now, Mild, actually, if I may. So I had Ghost as my wolf. I'm pretty sure of that. I had John was one of my he was like my melee fighter, and I had Bronn as kind of like a hybrid ranged and melee sort of thing. And then I had Samuel Tarly was my healer. In case folks were wondering, I had Melisandre as my black mage, if you will. The other one to bring down the burn, was going to bring the fire. Red mage in this case, I guess. But
all right. And so cool.
After Revelations, now I've changed my list as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think we should get started then. Our first position is going to be our damage dealer, and starting with the melee position. And hand to hand, as of now, who's the best damage dealer in terms of hand to hand combat? It's obviously Arya Stark, right? I mean, we saw how she took out all those whites, with that little special weapon that she had that Genshin made for her in episode 3 last season. I mean, look at her. Look at the way she's swinging it. I mean, she's unbeatable hand to hand. Who can take her on?
No one. Did you see what I did there?
No one.
Yeah. And also, the one I did forget was I think my tactician. I had Sir Davos Seaworth, the Onion Knight, and even my tactician, who I thought would be my tactician by the end of it all, he was wowed by Arya's skills. You remember the scene where, you could barely see it, of course, but if you do look really closely, you can see Davos just going, "Wow, you're freaking amazing." And for Davos to do that says a lot. And I'm going with Arya here as well, Mel.
Yeah, exactly. And Peter Griffin makes a point here. Yeah, wasn't that a cool scene where the Onion Knight was just standing over there, without even a drop of blood or anything on his sword at the end of the battle? I think all he was doing was watching Arya fight the whole battle through. So anyway, yes, exactly, Peter. So Yep, John, we are using StreamYard. I'm using it right now, and I'm basically just going through the motions of what's limited here. And there are a few things I talked about earlier on that are limitations, versus OBS. But it's good for what it is. It's very simple, and I love this feature where we can just show kind of like snippets from the chat, and basically and have fun with everybody in the chat. So it's a lot more interactive than either OBS or the old YouTube Hangouts interface, or even the new YouTube Hangouts, the new YouTube interface right now, because they didn't take away Hangouts. They just changed the UI to a more of a YouTube interface. It's still there. So, but yeah, I mean, so this is pretty cool. I mean, I'm just curious, like what the paid version gets you here, because, I still miss my independent audio sources, my independent video sources. So, but this is cool. So, Arya start for melee. Now, in terms of the damage dealer for ranged combat, guess who it is? It's Arya again, right? I mean, think about what she's done, and how she's progressed throughout the series, right? In season 1, she was pretty much of a badass shot, right? I mean, she threw shade at Bran for, because he sucked at archery, and Arya basically hit a bullseye from 20 feet, more away, right, than Bran.
And not only that, Milt, did you notice that she is versatile with all weapons, all ranged weapons now, right? I mean, we saw a glimpse of her just throwing, the dragon glass, daggers, of course, right?
Yeah.
Just showing off to, and she was just showing off completely to Gendry at the time, right? She wasn't even trying, right?
Yeah.
She is amazing with a bow. She's amazing with throwing weapons as well. I'd imagine if you put a slingshot in her hand, she would take down Goliath as well. She would take down 25 Goliaths.
Yes, and OTD, yes, this is the free version of StreamYard. So so I'm sure there are things missing, like certain parts, certain functionality that's missing here, that I could perhaps get access to if I actually paid for it. But no, for what it is, it's pretty good for a free program. So in season 3, she didn't really miss it, because do you remember the scene, like Angwide from the Brotherhood Without Banners, right? Thought that she kind of sucked, right? So Angwide showed her how to use bow and arrow. No, she was actually aiming for that straw man's nuts. Don't you think so?
Oh, absolutely. And then not only that, because you know how they have that archer that's like, he's all world archer, right? He's like the greatest archer since Robin Hood, basically, right? The guy that's like their, he's like their super archer. And he didn't even see Melisandre come in from, however far away she was, right? And Arya picked her out before that, super archer with the, with the Legolas eyes, right? Things of that nature, right? Arya picked Melisandre's group coming up, way before he did. Someone's coming. You remember that? And you would think that guy with all his skills would have, picked that up. Arya already showed him that, who's the archer that, does the duty in the woods here, for lack of a better.
And lastly, in the scene right before, in the scene in episode 3 last season, right before she had sex with Gendry, she was practicing archery, and she was just nailing those bullseyes, right?
So was Gendry.
But still, so again, throughout the whole series, she's been shown to be very, very good with ranged weaponry. Bows and arrows for sure. And then, as you were saying, Dawg, I think her assassin's training, really helped her out in terms of throwing knives and basically throwing rocks or anything else, right?
Absolutely. That's what I was like, I guarantee if you put a slingshot in her hand, she would be amazing with it. If you put a javelin in her hand, she'd be amazing with that too. If you, gave her some marbles or something, right? She could probably take somebody down with silly putty. Yeah.
And looks like Dornish Wench is talking about Halloween right now. So, all right, 3 months. It's 3 months early, but it works for me. So, all right, what am I doing here? Okay, anyway, so those are our damage dealers here. Now let's go into our tanks. Okay, so this is just defensive purposes, right? And we're going to start with our main tank, and guess who that is? We're looking for a bullet sponge, somebody who's really durable that can absorb a lot of damage, right? Who presents a strong, stout line of defense. Who is it, Dawg?
At one time I thought it might be somebody like the Hound or Jorah. It's definitely Arya Stark here, folks. She has the durability and the resilience and the toughness, right?
Yeah.
The tanks are tough, durable, have high health, and can bounce back, recuperate, if you will, right? And nobody has displayed higher of all these qualities, right? Of all other than Jon Snow from dying and coming back from death, possibly, right? However, he was raised. Whereas Arya's, out of all these aspects, she is the main tank.
Yeah, and Alicia, I would actually add 3 more zeros to that statement at the end of 9,000. So anyway, let's get back into this. Yeah. I mean, think about her durability. I mean, even strong Boaz, I don't think, can handle basically a twisting knife in the gut and still manage to stay conscious, and basically dive into like a really filthy canal and somehow stave off infection, okay? Because we all know how filthy those medieval canals were, right? And then 24 hours later, jump off of buildings and do parkour like nothing happened. It's almost as if she gained super strength and speed, throughout this ordeal.
You just totally brought it home when you used the medieval adjective. That was impressive, Milt, and yeah, that just totally brought it home for me there.
Yeah. So anyway, so definitely main tank. I mean, she can absorb the damage, obviously. So, and also the off tank. I didn't change his answer. I'm still thinking it's Arya Stark, right?
I mean, absolutely. She has this is our 5-hole player in baseball, basically, right? I mean, she can hit, she can throw, she can, this is somebody that can, be a main tank if you need, or just go out and just whoop some additions, if you will, right? We've seen this is proven. We have video footage of this now, right? This is facts that they're unquestionably in front of our eyes here that we cannot dispute. She can do damage as well as be a main tank.
Yep. It's all about Arya. I mean, she was able to basically use her stealth and speed to basically flank like the army of whites, right? In the Godswood without being noticed. Find that trampoline behind the weirwood tree, jump on it and fly off of it, like super ninja, and basically, kill the Night King from behind.
She takes down bosses.
Yeah, plays defense and offense. All right, so let's get into our next position here, and that's the Mage. You agree with this, Dawg? I mean, I was struggling between Melisandre, and I had Macoro, in my last in the last raid party, but now I'm thinking it's Arya again, only because of the magic that she learned while training, with the Faceless Man. I mean, she's the only Faceless Man that we've seen that can actually change, her face as well as her body, body proportions.
Like we've seen some, we've seen some magic, of course, in Game of Thrones, right? I mean, we've seen some pretty powerful spells, right? I mean, we've seen I just mentioned Melisandre bringing Jon Snow back from the dead, right? A resurrection spell, if you will, right? That's pretty powerful stuff. But when you look at overall what Arya's done, and I mean, to be able to just use magic and just change into somebody else, right? And just keep their body proportions and all that stuff, change your voice, all that stuff, their mannerisms, know everything. That's a pretty powerful spell, and I've got to give her as she's definitely the most powerful mage on the show.
Yeah. I mean,
or in the realm, or for that matter.
Yeah, because even the other Faceless Men, like the Waif and Jack and Hagar, they changed faces, but they didn't really change their height or their bodily proportions. But Arya did. Now, would you say that changing faces and changing bodily proportions is way cooler than shooting flames and fireballs out of your staff?
Think about this real quickly. This just popped in my head, right? You're a Harry Potter guy, right? You're right. You remember what they had to do something like this? What did they have to do? What did they have to use to do something like this? They had to use the polyjuice potion, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the excruciating things that they had to go through to even make a polyjuice potion, right? Think about the level of being a potion master, right? To make something like that up, right? And she's just doing this willy-nilly, bang, 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 bang. I can just, hey, I'm Arya 1 minute. I'm the Frey guy the next, right? I can be, this person over here and take down Marin Trant, right? And she's just doing it. She doesn't have to wait 30 days to make the polyjuice potion, folks. This is a powerful, powerful spell here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Alicia's saying that Jaqen did change. His body did change. I don't remember. I thought he stayed the same height when he changed his face.
Like when he, when he said farewell, Arya Stark, right? At the end of that, was that end of season 2, correct?
Yeah, end of season 2. Whereas Arya actually grew when she impersonated that Frey girl. I mean, she was like 5 or 6 inches taller.
Right. Well, she kept Walder Frey's. I'd imagine Walder. He's probably taller than Arya. Arya's not really all that tall, I don't think. In even real life.
Yeah. Now for the wave, I'm not sure, but she pretended to look like that old lady, right, before she stabbed Arya. But was she also kind of like? Did she keep the same height?
Yeah, they might have been around the same height anyway. Yeah. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I gotta go look at it to see.
I would guess that like Maisie Williams. I'm just guessing she's probably like 5'2", 5'3", maybe top.
Yeah. 5'2" tops. I mean, she's tiny.
I bet you there's somebody's got to know in the chat. How tall is Maisie Williams? Anybody know?
5'2", 5'1".
That's my guess. I'm going with 5'2".
Yeah. Taller blonde boy. I remember. So she was a taller blonde boy, Alicia? Do you remember that? I'm trying to. If she is, then maybe the wave is pretty powerful as a magician.
She's about 6'4", according to John Del Vento.
Well,
I believe him.
Well, who knows?
That's hilarious.
All right. So let's go on to your next one. So is this cooler than shooting a fireball out of a staff?
Dawg. Okay. OTDA says she's 5'1".
Okay, there you go. OTDA, 5'1".
That's freaking hilarious, though.
Okay, let's get into her healer now. Okay, I changed it. Okay, it's not Arya. It was actually Lady Crane. She has access to the powerful potion on Earth, or in Planetos.
I'm gonna disagree with this, and I'm gonna go with Arya Stark here, and I'm gonna tell you why real quickly. Okay, right. Look at our attributes right now, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, Arya was down, needed some recuperation, right? She's not completely all godlike, right? But close, and she did need some help, right? And got it from Lady Crane. However, I think that she's so intelligent and her intangibles, all that stuff. I think that she learned what Lady Crane did to help her out, right? And I think that she could, if the shoe was on the other foot, per se, I think that Arya could do it possibly even better now.
Yeah. Okay, Dawg. But in a team setting, though, right? Like if one of her damage dealers, like Robert Baratheon, was hurt and like running low on hit points, can Arya help him out and give him back his hit points, or is Lady Crane the better bet because she has access to that magical, milk the poppy?
Yeah. So I would have Arya just pop out of thin air and just save herself. Right, as she's because she's as the healer Arya is getting ready with the milk of the poppy, that she's even brewed something even better now, right? Because she's got all the intangibles and she has the intelligence factor too to do it even better than the person that did it previously. I think that she would do it better after seeing somebody else do it the first time. And that's why, and I think if she was in some sort of danger, she could just pop out of thin air anyway and, take down the ads, and then she could get back to business doing her healing anyway.
So it's basically what you're saying is that in a team full of other Aryas, you wouldn't need a healer.
No, she has unicorn abilities.
All right. All right, that's good. All right, let's get into our tactician strategist. Now, I was thinking about this as well. And first of all, is Rob Stark. Yeah, he's a great battle tactician. He's undefeated. Throughout the wars, from a military point of view, right? Strategically, he totally kicked Howard Lannister's ass left and right. But I don't think it's him. I think it's Arya Stark, because she had the simplest and the most effective, the simplest strategy, but the most effective tactics, right?
Absolutely.
The strategy was basically solidify Stark control. Okay, she didn't want the Starks to ever get in that position ever again. Her tactics were simple, right? Were easy, were great, effective. Just kill them directly. No puddling around, no with acting smart or whatever, these grand schemes, just kill them.
Right. I mean, what do we say to the god of death? And that is the tactic right there, right? Not today. And it was just pop out of thin air, take out boss, check. And now, and then to piggyback off of that, right? Let's look at the final episode, right? And let's look at intelligence here, folks. Okay, let's look at the intangibles, the intelligence, right? Thank God that Arya was there, right? And to pop out like Batman possibly would John, right? And then John turns around and whoa, there's Arya, right? And thank God she was there to tell John that Dany was a killer. Right. And she knows a killer when she sees one. Right. And she, was able to tell John that Dany was truly indeed a killer. And it's intelligence like that makes you a super tactician. Right. Just knowing that, hey, pop out of thin air, take down boss, and that Dany is a killer. I mean, to have that one up after, that was just brilliant. So yeah, definitely my tactician. Now, sorry, Onion Knight, but Arya takes this one.
And remember, I mean, I could cite one example of how this strategy and tactics played out together, like in perfect unison. Okay, when her strategy was to solidify her, Stark control, the grand strategy, right? All she did was directly kill Littlefinger, and all of a sudden the Starks have control of the Vale and the North. Just by killing one dude because of Arya Stark's simple and effective tactics. Just kill Littlefinger. It's like nobody else did it beforehand.
That's all she had to do.
Yeah.
And nobody else thought of that for years, for seasons, of course, right? I mean, and he's been, he's the guy that started the whole thing off, really. I mean, we want to talk about the main catalyst to the drama that happened with Game of Thrones, right? I mean, Littlefinger kind of set it off, right?
Yeah.
And Arya just simply did what many could not do before.
Yep.
There's just so much evidence that, she is definitely the tactician strategist.
Yep. And so now we go into our direwolf. And who else she put in as a direwolf but Arya's direwolf, Nymeria, right? I mean, look at how Nymeria have grown since season 1, and she had that really quizzical look on her face, right?
Yeah, and then she's got that look, because I'm thinking, and I mentioned this in your chat prior to. I said, you know what, I would still kind of go with Ghost here, just because, I saw him survive that charge somehow, some way he survived that charge, just lost an ear, right? But when I think about this, and Nymeria is just looking at me now, going, really, dude, Ghost. Really? Did you see how big I was? And, I've got this whole freaking monster, pack with me now, right? And yeah, I'm going to go with Nymeria too. It's Arya's wolf that is going to rule the pack, if you will, right? And yeah, I see you looking at me like that. So, okay, all right, yeah, I'm going with you.
Yeah, and you see the last time that we saw Nymeria, I mean, she's basically in charge of her own wolf pack. And even Arya, who's at this point, superhuman, right, in terms of her abilities, even she's bowing down to Nymeria. What does that tell you about the potential beast power that Nymeria has?
That's a home run, Mel. You just went yard on that one, my friend. Yeah, I mean, seriously, if Arya genuflex, right, to something, then we should probably take note of that. And that's definitely that's a free space in bingo. That's what they call free space and bingo right there. That's just automatic. That's where the wolf. That's the wolf. Yeah. Nymeria. Sorry,
Yeah.
Ghost.
So at the end of the day, guys, I mean, my team has totally changed, and look at it now. I mean, Arya pretty much, she's the damage dealer for both melee and ranged combat forms. She's both tanks, right? Absorbing a lot of damage, providing that stout defense as well as being able to, pick off targets, defense on the offense and defense. She's the mage because of her faceless man powers, the ability to change, her forms, her physical form essentially to grow taller, get fat, or whatever. Now, Lady Crane, yeah, I'm giving to her as the healer, okay? But I know you like her, like Arya as the healer, which is okay because in a team full of Aryas, you might not even need a healer. Tactician and strategist, I would give it to Arya. And lastly, the direwolf would be Nymeria. Is there anything here you would change, Dawg?
I'm such a Harry Potter nerd too. Is that if you did change the healer to Arya, we'd almost look like we had the 7 Potters, but we'd have the 7 Aryas.
Yeah, and OTDA is totally correctly on point. That team would definitely beat any other team. It would wipe the floor with my previous team, right?
That's going to take down the Fellowship, even the Fellowship of the Ring, I'd imagine, even with their 9.
Man, I mean, are you sure Arya can take down Legolas? These Legolas look pretty, unbeatable as well. Him sliding down the backs of like all these monsters and everything.
Ooh, that's good. Well, he's got some plot. I mean, they really beefed him up, movie wise. And if we added in what they did with him with the Hobbit films too, that's a tough call, Mill. Yeah, you caught me off guard with that one. Yeah, because Legolas is bad.
I don't know.
Legolas is a beast.
So anyway, yeah, and why? So we're going why Arya this and why that? Because there's a lot of reasons, right? I mean, and we talked about some examples from the show, but I just want to summarize these examples into more simple terms. I mean, she does have these unmatched fighting abilities, right? Water dancing, right? Brawling. She had a brawling internship with Sandor Clegane, the Hound, and Brianna Tarth. Plus, she had combat training with the Faceless Men, right? So we know that she has the most diverse skill set as a fighter out there. Secondly, magical know-how, right? She actually did finish her studies in Bravos, right, at the House of Black and White, where she did learn, some of these magical skills in order for her to change faces and change her shape and form. Okay, that appears that maybe nobody else can do that, like especially changing her form, but evidently Arya can. Unlike, and also she's not better than Sam Tardy, but Sam Tardy's a dropout, and Arya actually finished her schooling. And lastly, the third thing is that in terms of strategy and tactics, she did basically sit at the feet of Tywin Lannister, who was generally regarded as one of the greatest generals in history, being his cupbearer and all. So she learned secretly how to actually strategize as well as, how to effectively deal with certain situations and develop good, effective tactics.
Hey, even Tywin was impressed by her. If he was impressed by her, that says a lot.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, plot armor. Right? Plot armor makes you invincible. And boy, does she have a lot of plot armor. Don't you think?
I'd have to say so. There's quite a bit of evidence. Now, all this being said, right, we've had a lot of fun here tonight. I want to say something about, when I look back at, going like just say, season 1 through maybe 6, season 1 through, I guess 1 through 6. I mean, this was a great, I just thought it's still one of my favorite characters. I mean, she had kind of, we'd seen her grow from, the beginning all the way to earning this, being an absolutely badass fighter and all this stuff, right? But yeah, I think they went maybe just a little overboard, just a bit, just a little overboard by the end of it. But yeah, I think that they just didn't stick the finish quite the way it should have been. It was CGI'd, I think.
So any last words before we actually close the stream, guys? Hey, thanks a lot again for coming out. Really appreciate it. This was a really kind of off the cuff thing, ad hoc thing that we did because we were playing around with StreamYard and figure out, okay, why not just have a stream about Arya, and a video from today earlier on. So again, thanks a lot. And the StreamYard thing is pretty nice too, for this kind of interactive chat, if you will. Being able to basically pull up banners like this and actually switch views very quickly, as well as highlight things in the chat. It's great. So, Dawg, anything else?
Oh, just thanks for having me, Mel. I had a blast. I hope folks are. I hope folks had a great. Yeah, I was going to ask you to put that up. That's perfect for us. Yep. Yeah, I love. That's my favorite feature about the StreamYard is the chat. You can put that. Folks' questions up if you are in a deep discussion or whatever, and the banners are nice too with that. But yeah, thanks folks for being here tonight. Alicia Kingston, John, thanks so much. Jordan Wench, OTDA, just giving a few shout outs, and I think Amanda was here too, possibly. Yeah, I thought I saw her earlier. Oh, so, Peter Griffin.
So what's happening? Somebody can't turn up the volume.
Giggity.
Anyway, this is actually abuse of this kind of functionality when you're actually making fun of other people in somebody else's stream and whatever. So anyway,
that is funny.
Anyway, yeah. So again, thanks a lot everyone for coming out here. Again, this is part 2, and this will be probably the last time we talk about Game of Thrones raid night, because after this team, what other team can possibly exist to actually have a chance to beat this team, this new team that we have?
What about a team of Mr. Miyagi's?
That would be tough. That would be tough. What about a team of Yodas? Do you think Arya can beat a team of Aryas can beat a team of Yodas?
Man, I don't know, but I'd buy a ticket to watch that one. No.
Anyway, who knows? Or a team of Godzillas. Nobody beats Godzilla, man.
Nobody beats Godzilla.
Nobody can beat Godzilla.
That's my prediction for Godzilla versus King Kong. Godzilla's gonna win. Even if King Kong beats Godzilla, Godzilla's still gonna win.
Did you watch the Godzilla movie that came out this summer?
I haven't seen the newest one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I'm wondering if he's just as invincible in this one, as he has been in the past.
I think he's got to fight like Rodan and Mothra.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's not allowed anymore, but I doubt there were any scenes of like a bunch of, hysterical Japanese people running away from the monsters, right, in this movie.
I'd hope so. I don't know.
All right, because that was like the typical scene of the old Godzilla movies.
Yeah, the original especially. Yep, I totally remember.
Mass panic, right, by the Japanese populace. That's what I'm gonna say. So anyway. Anyway, I think we're done. Thanks a lot, everyone, for coming out. I'm going to end this broadcast now before we, devolve into something else that we'll regret later on. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, folks.